This is TWiT.
This is the Pixel 3a.
Which I'm literally unboxing as we talk about it.
Oh, you haven't opened it yet.
I just took the seal off.
I want to see it because you got every year Google does black, white, and a weird color. Last year it was pinkish. No, it was not pink. Sorry.
Yep.
Not pink.
Now it's purplish, and you got the purplish.
2 tabs.
I did.
There's another one on the other side.
Oh.
Yeah.
That would
It's
make
easy to miss.
sense.
Jason and I have both unboxed it. Now,
I did
you
the
got
same
the big
thing.
one, Jason, right? You got the
Yeah,
XL.
I got the 3A XL, the 3-axle.
So I took out, Karsten, our producer, bought one because he's a Verizon customer and he's been using an old OG Pixel.
It was time.
I thought it felt really good.
Yeah.
It does. You know, it's a cheaper phone. It's what is it? $499.
$399 starting.
Yeah.
This one is $399 starting.
So it's it's not budget price, but it's a lot. It's half as much.
Oh,
about
it starts up.
$400 less than the.
I'll give you the
Pixel
3-axle to put next to it.
It's got a cute little
Oh, you
neon
got
button over here.
purplish too.
Yeah.
We did. We couldn't help but both gravitate
Twinsies.
towards.
Twinsies.
Yeah.
So that's a slightly bigger. That's
It feels a
6
little
inch.
lighter. It feels a little lighter than the Pixel. Not as dense
They
as
are
the
a
regular
little
Pixel.
lighter.
Well,
Absolutely.
but plastic isn't such a bad.
But it doesn't
material.
feel like a plastic phone.
No, it feels good.
the same as the material that's on the regular old
Now
Pixel.
here's the key. It's the same lens on the back, right? Same camera, same software, but they did eliminate that special processor, the image processor.
So they did some software enhancements to get the same.
Are the images as good?
Yeah. Yeah. the
Everybody
images are
seems
great.
to agree that it might be a little slower because it doesn't
wouldn't
have
know
the
yet.
extra
This-
processor. but
This is a mid-ranger that you buy if camera is your top priority.
It's the best camera
as far as
at
I'm
that price.
concerned. Yes. For this price range, I mean, that I've seen, that I know of, yeah.
What's the OnePlus going to cost? Do you know? It's not going to be this inexpensive.
Well, the OnePlus is a flagship.
The OnePlus 7 or the 7 Pro? I mean, we don't even have
We don't even
pricing.
know.
No,
Okay.
Yeah.
no. We're going to
And
find
that's
out
a
on
flagship.
So
Tuesday.
this
So it'll
competes
be-
maybe with the Moto G7?
Yes.
Yeah,
This
more in that
competes.
price range, I'd say.
Much better camera. Pure Google. I mean, the Moto's pretty pure, but this is pure.
It's so pure, it's going to get updates right on time.
I mean, the Moto G7, $199 to $299. So this is
Okay,
maybe a
it's still a little
little
more
bit
expensive.
higher than that,
Okay.
but yeah, ish around that area. I mean, they're gonna discount these. You're gonna see these on sale for $300. I
So,
think you already are.
It's not unheard of, but it's rare for a company to announce a phone less than a year after its most recent
Yeah.
phone. They announced
It
the
was
Google
buzzed about so much.
the Pixel 3. Well, I think that they made it to replace the Pixel 3 because it wasn't selling very well. It's my theory.
Yeah, and I mean, this really, in my opinion, this places a lot of pressure on Google to come out with a 4 that is much different than what we're used to seeing, because the 1 through 3 all have the same design approach, all have kind of like a minimalist, presence from Google as far as features are concerned. 4 gigs of RAM on their flagship, Pixel 3, always seemed like not enough RAM compared to other flagships, and then now, they're showing that they could do 4 gigs of RAM and something that's half the cost with the same camera that everybody knows is why you buy a
There
Pixel.
aren't a huge number of concessions in this compared to the Pixel 3, right? I mean, this is fairly close. Is the screen as good? Some said it was better.
The
turned
display,
it
so
off,
apparently it is a Samsung display. I like the display. It's a 1080p
it's OLED?
display. If you've got the smaller
looked
version,
OLED.
if you've got the regular 3, they're both 1080p displays. If you've got the 3XL like I have, this is a higher res display than what you'll get on the 3A XL. But still, 1080p, it looks fantastic.
Even on my Galaxy S10 Plus, I don't use the full resolution. I
No,
make it 1080p because it's better battery life,
Better
and I
battery.
can't tell the difference.
Yeah. No wireless charging. Yes, headphone jack.
I thought this was
that's
a
right. Wait,
huge
where is it?
retrenching.
Oh, it's
No
on the top.
notch.
No notch.
No notch. And a headphone jack.
Right here. Look at
God
that.
bless you.
Look at that. And then on the bottom
Do you
here
think
we have USB-C.
so? Is
and
that
some
Google
speakers.
announcing? Yeah, they put the speakers on the bottom instead of on the front. But do you think that's Google saying, "Yeah, we might have made a mistake with the notch and the headphone and no"? headphone jack?
No, I think it's just cheaper to do it this way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's not
they
an
were
edge-to-edge
aiming for
display.
a cheaper device here, and they had to make some sacrifices in order to do that. Not to mention the 3, not the XL. The 3 had no notch, right?
Right. I don't have
So-
a notch on mine.
So they don't have to do the notches on their displays anymore. And
They better not.
Yeah,
All of us
we'll
want 'em.
certainly find out what they do. I just feel like it places a lot more pressure on Google to really do something different with the 4, because right now, if someone asks me, someone on Twitter asks me, I've got the 1, I want to upgrade. Do I get the 3 or do I get the 3A? And I'm like, if you have to buy now, 3A.
At this point, no one should buy the 3.
No, you don't buy the 3. If you can
Unless-
wait for the 4, because maybe there's going to be
Why
some really
should I
cool
spend
stuff.
$300 more for a 3?
Water resistance, if you really want that.
You're not going swimming with it. Anyway, is it? What
You're right. I'm not going to go swimming with it. You're right. I went to a water park, and what did I do? I put my phone in a locker because I
Of course
said,
you
not
did.
doing it.
Even when I
Paid
have
way
a
too much
waterproof
for
phone,
that.
I put it in. Yeah, I don't
way
go
too much
swimming
for
with
it.
it.
storage is a little slower, right?
Yeah, and
EMC.
you know what? And the processor inside is, it's
not
a
a-
more of a
Mid-range.
mid-range processor. And
Snapdragon
I will say that there are certain times where I
feel
see a little
slow?
bit of, I wouldn't say slow or sluggish, but there are definitely times where you launch something and it takes a skip longer than maybe used to with a premium flagship.
And on that note, I will say that I was very frustrated with my Pixel 3 over Google I/O because that's like the real stress test of these phones.
Oh yeah, it's
You gotta
taking
take a
into
picture
account.
real
But
quick
also because I'm going between Android Auto and just like jumping out of my car, I was just moving everywhere last week, and I had to restart the phone a couple times because Bluetooth would break between my car Rove and my watch. Sometimes things would just slow down to a crawl.
So, did Google ship this because? Okay, I'll give you a multiple choice question.
All right.
Yes.
Did they ship it because the 3 was too expensive? They said in their quarterly results we were facing some headwinds at the high-end phone, so they weren't selling them very well.
All right,
No
but
kidding.
they
Ship
were
it?
creating this well before that. Well before they
So
knew
you
that
think
the 3
they always
wasn't going.
planned
Yeah.
by I/O to have another version of?
I do. I think that they've had mid-range in their sights
Unlike
for a
the
while
Pixel 3 and the 3 XL, they were able to get this into all the carriers, right? That's another change.
now. Almost all. AT&T is the only exception.
So that's huge. For them.
That's
Do you
big
think
because
the
I
carriers
mean
said, well, that's choice 2. The carriers said, we're not going to carry the high end. Give us something cheaper.
why wouldn't they carry the high end? I don't
Because
understand.
they know their customers won't buy it.
well, maybe
Their customers
they
are gonna
will
say,
now.
that's too
like,
expensive.
yeah,
Because
I don't know.
Samsung probably pays them more money, and
Yeah.
Apple probably pays them more money
they
to
do
be
carry
front
the
and center.
Samsung.
And the
Yeah.
Samsung folks, they go in there and they train the employees. Like you get
I have to
them
be
on
honest.
this-
I like the S10 so much better.
S10's
than the
fantastic.
Pixel 3.
You like it better than the
Much
Pixel 3?
better. The Pixel 3 has had all sorts
even the
of flaws.
interface.
Yeah. And the Pixel 3, lots of problems, honestly.
It
Lots
has
of
and
had
I've not
problems.
encountered very many problems,
Oh,
but I
come
know
on.
there are a lot of people
Stuff was,
that were
you
that
couldn't run 3
say the same
programs at
thing.
the same time. They would crash out.
Wireless charging doesn't work for me, by the
They
way.
would.
Oh.
The camera would stop. There were all sorts of problems with it. And somebody here's an article, by the way. I don't know if this is accurate, but some people are saying now that it's the well-being, the digital well-being, that is recording everything you're doing on the Pixel phone. If you turn that off, it's much faster.
Huh.
I haven't read that.
Well,
But I think there's memory management issues on the Pixel
yes.
3, and I think that's part
There
of
have
this.
always been memory management
Yes.
issues in
They
stock
never
Android.
fixed it.
It's been like that since the Nexus devices.
Yeah, that's true.
Quite
That's
honestly,
true.
I mean, because all the Pixels have treated me the same. It's by the time I/O would come, which is a good halfway after they launched them in October.
You got really
I
comfortable
would
with that
start
phone.
to really feel the slowdown, and then I would say, "Well, you know what? I'm doing this for a living anyway. I guess I'm going to buy the new phone in October."
It feels to me like Google. That you're right. They must have been working on this all along.
yeah.
But it feels to me almost a desperation move. Like, oh God, we made this too expensive.
No. I don't think so.
You don't think so?
I think
That they all along planned to have kind of a
Yes.
high end and a mid range phone.
they needed this for the developer set as well, because there was no way that they were going to have a phone that cost that much money for the developers.
That's what Nexus
coming
always
from the
was.
Nexuses.
It is, and there
Yes.
there were at least a couple of Googlers that I spoke to that I didn't have to mention Nexus. They were the ones that
They
mentioned
should
it.
have called this Nexus.
No,
The
because
Pixel
then it
Nexus.
doesn't have consumer. Then it doesn't have consumer appeal, because this one you put it. Hey guys,
Yeah.
it's the Pixel. It's the same Pixel.
I mean-
That great camera.
mean,
Look at the colors.
Seriously, so I've been using the 3A since Tuesday when we got them. I ended up with the same case as I have on my 3XL, right? My SIM's over here in the 3A. And I really would not know the difference. In my daily use, I've been using the 3A, and it's very rarely that I'm like, oh, yeah, that's right, I'm on the 3A. I still
Honestly,
kind of
that's
think I'm
kinda
using
what
the same phone.
Honestly, that's I think the problem with this.
Yeah. Well, I think it's kind of interesting that they did that, because in some ways they're shooting themselves in the
Right.
foot on
Why
ever
pay
moving a
more?
3. At this point, most people are going to say, well, you get the camera, and that's really, at the end of the day, that's the big selling point of Pixel right now, is that excellent camera.
And the assistant, the integration of the assistant.
Sure. Well, yeah, and the software, Google's dedication to
You're getting the
upgrading
Google
software.
experience is
You're
what I
getting
mean
their
versus
experience,
Samsung's version versus OnePlus's version.
Yeah.
And for me, that was always a big day.
I
It's a
should
great
point
phone,
out
I have to say.
that this quarter, smartphone sales in North America fell more than ever in history.
Oh, interesting.
People are running out of money.
People don't
Spice
want
stuff
to
every year.
buy smartphones.
Or
And
their phones are good enough.
It's Apple, but it's also Samsung. It's also all the other phones.
Oh, my friends on Apple phones, they're using 3-year-old, 4-year-old iPhones because to them, they spent $1,000 on that thing. They'll,
That's the
gonna milk
problem
it.
when you make them that expensive.
Okay, because guess
and
what?
don't give
$1,000
people
is not.
and they don't give you a compelling reason to upgrade. That's the
Yeah.
other problem, right? So, in fact, you started saying that. How is Google going to get people into the stores this fall? What are they going to do with the Pixel 4 that's going to make people buy one?
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm curious to find out. I think that they kind of hinted a little bit to what we'll see in the Pixel 4 in the keynote, where they were talking about moving more of the machine language onto the device. That assistant demo, from what I understand, was done on a device that's still unidentified. And so I'm guessing that the 4 is going to hinge a lot more around speed, along with the smarts of their software, of their AI happening on device. So that you've got your mid-ranger that can do a lot of really neat things, but if you get the premium one, you can do things faster, you can do things more securely. So much more of that is moved onto the device. And not to mention, they really need to, like, this single camera approach has been awesome. I mean, they've done a lot with it because they have the software to back it up. But they need to get with the times and realize that, these other phones that they're competing with do have multiple cameras, and those are actually in demand. People want a wide, people want an optical zoom. So take your software, your amazing image software, and apply it to these multiple cameras.
Take your
and then people
machines.
have more of a reason to believe that Pixel is the phone camera.
Is that going to be a 5G phone? The 4?
Oh, the 4? That's a good question. I don't know. I feel like right now, if phones are 5G, it's like, oh, and we have this 5G model because 5G is still
I
nothing.
mean, Android Q will be
I don't know
5G
if Pixel
compatible, but
4 would.
yeah, that'll depend on.
Do you think enough
Yeah, you're right.
carriers will have 5G in 2020 that they'll...
Not where it matters. Not where it matters.